Hi there, and welcome to Mr. Bell's Grammar Series, Volume 4, Clauses and Simple Sentences. For some of you, this will just be a quick review, and for others it will help you establish a foundation in understanding what we're talking about when we move on to more complicated grammar ideas. It's important to remember, when we talk about grammar, we're trying to get a better understanding of how the English language is structured, so we can better communicate with each other. In these early lessons, we're mostly focusing on basic definitions and functions so that we'll have a consistent basis to build from as we move forward. So, to get a better understanding of clauses, let's get to work. In our last video, we moved from the basic building blocks of English to actually putting them together into simple sentences. Now we're going to expand on those ideas and look at how ideas can be combined in ways that are not necessarily complete sentences in and of themselves, but in blocks that can be combined further to create more complex and elaborate sentences. Today, we're looking at clauses. Before we get started, let's quickly refresh some key points that we'll need to have in mind for this lesson to be useful. A preposition is a word or phrase that modifies a noun or pronoun, indicating a positional relationship to another word or phrase in the sentence. The subject of a sentence is the part of the sentence that is performing the action, the verb. The object of a sentence is the part of the sentence that is affected by the verb. And the predicate is the part of the sentence that contains the verb and the object if the sentence has an object. Now, despite what the name implies, a clause in grammar is not a jolly old elf who visits children on Yuletide. Rather, in grammar, a clause is a group of words containing a subject and a predicate functioning as part of a sentence. If your group of words does not have both a subject and a predicate, it is a phrase, and not what we're focused on in this video. A clause can be a sentence all by itself. All the sentences we looked at in Lesson 3 were single clause sentences, or simple sentences. We'll talk more about those in a later video. However, a clause does not have to be a complete sentence. This brings us to our two basic types of clause: independent or main, and dependent or subordinate. There's some debate in the English teaching community over which terms to use: independent versus main, and dependent versus subordinate. I generally prefer independent and dependent, and I'll try to be consistent in using those. Just know that you may encounter the terms main and subordinate, and keep in mind that they have the same meaning as independent and dependent. An independent clause, or main clause, is one that can stand alone as a complete sentence. It has a subject, a predicate, and is a complete idea. A dependent clause, or subordinate clause, is one that has a subject and a predicate, but is not a complete idea. It is missing some piece of information necessary to understand the meaning. You may notice from the examples on screen that the dependent clauses could be combined with the independent clauses to form complete sentences. We'll talk more about how that is done in Lesson 6, where we'll look at more complex sentence structures. An easy way to identify whether a clause is an independent clause is to try to read it as a sentence. Is it a complete idea, or is there information missing? In these first three sentences, we see a complete idea. While we could obviously get more information, whether through expanding the sentences with verbs and adjectives, or by writing more sentences on the topic, each one is sufficient to address their main point. In these next three sentences, however, we see that each one is missing an important part of the sentence, which is also part of what goes into building a clause. In the first, we are missing the object. The second is missing the subject, and the third is missing both the direct object as well as what would likely be the indirect object. These phrases are neither clauses nor sentences. Now, up to this point, I've tried to keep my clauses and sentences fairly short and simple, so to avoid muddying the water with more information than strictly necessary. However, If you look at the following sentences, you'll see that a clause can be longer than just a few words. The key to keep in mind is that each of these sentences has only one subject and one predicate. So to review, a clause is a group of words containing both a subject and a predicate functioning as part of a sentence. In order to be a clause and not a phrase, it must have both a subject and a predicate. A clause that can function on its own as a sentence is an independent clause. A clause that relies on more information to be complete is a dependent clause. In order to be a complete sentence, a clause must not be missing critical parts or information. Having a good understanding of basic grammar functions will help you improve your ability to pull meaning from any text. When you get comfortable with seeing language as something with structure and learn how that structure works, you will see your learning grow. Next lesson, we'll look at the class of words used to join clauses together, conjunctions. Class dismissed.